I'm Linda Rainwater, Training Manager for Baby Lock, and with me today is our own star, Sara Gallegos. And Sara, it's so fun to have you on set with me at the same time. So
sure.
You've been doing a lot of videos for us about Baby Lock products. She does a great job. And so we wanted to have a little bit of a conversation, which I thought would be fun, about stabilizers. You know, stabilizers are a huge part of your success, or it could be your big failure.
Absolutely.
In embroidery. And so knowing which ones to choose and using them appropriately has everything to do with embroidery success, right? So we know you got a great machine. So let's make sure that we finish the recipe just the right way. So you brought a ton of samples, and so I'm gonna just kind of prompt you. So let's start with this because it's like right here in front of me. So this is an awesome pillow. So tell us a little bit about how you did this and how you stabilized it.
Great. So you can turn a $5 pillow, literally $5 I spent on that, into a designer type of pillow, just with a little bit of stabilizer and some thread, right? So I took a built-in design on the Destiny and put two of the pieces together, and I've got a tearaway stabilizer on the back side of it, but you need a topper.
I was just gonna ask you if you used a topper, okay.
Yeah, because there's so much texture in this fabric, you wouldn't want anything to get caught on it or your needle or anything. So I put a press-away topper on that. And real easy to work with because you just, I basted it. I didn't try to hoop this whole pillow. I just basted it in the hoop. And then you press away the excess topper, just kind of balls up and you can brush it off. And then you've got the perfect pillow.
Okay, so the press away topping that we used, do we have it over here? Okay, it's this guy here. All right, I love this product. And so when I was talking with you earlier, you told me something that I didn't know. There's a lot that I don't know, but this one in particular was an interesting bit of information. It had to do with which side goes down and which side goes up when you use this product. So what is that?
So this press away has one kind of smoother side and one side that's a little bumpy. And sometimes when you're trying to get it onto the fabric and under the needle and into the hoop, it wants to slide around because it's kind of almost like saran wrap. It's real slippery, right? Okay. So if you'll take that bumpy side and put it right up against the texture of the fabric, they just kind of grip each other and it gives you a little bit greater control.
Right. I thought that was a great tip. I've used this before, but I didn't know that, and it might have been the reason why, you know, something wasn't as perfect as it could have been. Now I know I'm going to go home and embroider soon. All right.
Perfect.
So that is a great sample. I love this.
Yeah.
And this was a pre-purchased pillow, right?
Yeah, literally $5.
So I'm going to show the back because that's the trick here, is that it had some buttons.
Isn't that cool?
Right?
Yeah.
So you were able to take it out and hoop it. Okay, so we're done with this one.
Yep.
All right. So I really love some of can we talk about these?
Absolutely.
Because they intrigue me.
Yeah.
When I saw you pull these out of your suitcase. So explain to me what we have here.
So this is just two pieces of fabric fused together with Shape Flex, which is a real sturdy interfacing. And you can get single-sided fusible or double-sided fusible.
Is that this guy here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I always think about placemats when I think about this. But I love this idea. So show me how that's done.
So this is real simple. It's just cut out with pinking shears so it doesn't fray at all. And I covered it with all sorts of different Sashiko stitches.
Awesome. So not just necessarily embroidery.
Yeah. So you can get a little crafty with your stabilizers, not just for embroidery. So.
Okay. Fabulous. I think that's a great project, and I actually like that better than a whole bunch of placemats because then you just have to wash them all the time.
Thanks, Mary Mulari.
Thanks, Mary Mulari.
She taught me that.
Okay, very cool. So what do you got next here?
So just a little table topper, quickie, easy, and really fine fabric. It was pre-purchased just like this, super cute. Did some decorative stitching around the edges, and of course, if you're decorative stitching, you need to make sure you're using some stabilizer.
Okay, so could you turn this over? So this is what I have a difficult time with is I can't stop picking things when I embroider something and like there's nothing here. So did you use a dissolve away mesh or something?
So rinse away, tear away. There's dissolve away mesh. There are a couple different types. On this one I used the rinse away, tear away.
All right, so rinse away, tear away.
Tear away, washable, this one right here.
Okay, this one here. Yep. Okay, very good.
And it's nice because you can tear away the excess, and when you are left with a little bit, in between your flowers, if you get in there with your tweezers, you could run the risk of potentially picking away your threads or your fabric. So you can just kind of spritz it with water, and it takes away the rest of it.
I love that. Yeah, and I do like that it's so delicate, and yet it offered a great foundation for it. And it did for the stitches. That's amazing. Pretty amazing. All right, good. Very good. Okay, so what do you got next?
A little t-shirt.
All right, t-shirts. And I think that's what everybody wants to stitch when they get a new embroidery machine. They want to go right to a t-shirt. And it's not as easy as it looks, right?
No, it's not, because they stretch. T-shirts stretch out that knit fabric.
Okay. And so it looks like you used a mesh cutaway.
Yeah, this one's a mesh cutaway. There's also the fusible mesh that's really nice to work with too, because it just bonds to the fibers of the material and doesn't allow it to stretch.
Right, and so that's this medium, well, this is, medium fusible cutaway. Yep. And so the shiny side here is the fusible side.
Yes.
And so then it fused, but it didn't stick around. So can you turn that inside out a little bit so we can see it? Because it fused to it initially, but you were still able to pull it away enough to trim around it, so you got rid of the excess.
Yes, you
so
don't have
that's
to have tons
big,
in there.
right?
Yeah, you can just pull it up gently and get in there and snip it.
Right. And I like it because whenever you fuse that kind of a stabilizer on, you can actually hoop something. You know, look, a lot of people end up going for a hoopless method of embroidery where they'll put a stabilizer in the hoop and then spray an adhesive on. And I found that really causes a problem with knits.
Yeah, and adhesives make a mess. They mess up your hoop. They can gum up the needle. So it is nice to be able to just fuse that right on, hoop the project.
And it's good. And I like the beige because for the show through, you don't see that extra layer of white.
Yeah.
So that's great that you have that. Absolutely. So another white shirt, but I like that you did this a little bit differently, so show us that.
Did one extra thing on the back, especially if you're embroidering for children or somebody who has a lot of sensitive skin, doesn't necessarily want to feel all of that stitching on the underside of the garment. We have the fusible stitch cover up.
Right.
And you can literally fuse it behind your entire design, and it just creates the soft little backdrop so you don't feel any of that itchy on your body.
I've actually embroidered things for my children at certain points, and then they'll not wear it because they said it hurts. Yeah. Really?
It hurts you when they won't wear it, right?
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I spent all that time.
Problem.
I love this. And so that's this little embroidery stitch cover up. And it's actually a brilliant concept. A long time ago, I used to use just a regular interfacing, but this is so much softer, and it's just for that. So if you're embroidering for babies or even, cranky adults, definitely use this kind of a stabilizer.
And you still got full flexibility because it's super duper soft. You can't even tell it's there.
Yeah, you can't tell it's there. I like it. I think it's a smart thing to do. Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, so this next sample... This next sample is actually something that I stuck in. And the reason why I did it is because I love lace. So I can remember going to the fabric store and picking out fabric for a project. I wanted this. And so this is Madeira thread, Madeira rayon. And all it is embroidery thread and bobbin thread. And I used this water-soluble, this dissolve-away mesh. Dissolve-away mesh. And seriously, the best product for doing freestanding lace. So all you need is a good lace design, and we actually have some Zunt designs from Baby Lock, and this is gorgeous, and you can make it as long as you want. And honestly, the lady at the store thought that I bought it somewhere, and I made it with my embroidery machine, so it's totally cool.
Great job.
But, thanks. Hey, it's all in the stabilizer.
That's right.
It's all in the stabilizer.
It's a good machine.
Okay, so a little towel.
Yep.
Nothing's
gift.
cuter, right? Great gift, great built-in design from the Destiny. And so what did you use for the topping and the backing on this?
Topping and backing on this one, just a tear away, wash away again on the back so that when you wash the towel, it takes it all away.
Okay. And you haven't washed it yet because obviously it's still there. But it's going to go away.
Going to go away soon.
All right.
And then again, the fusible. And I like showing the towel because a lot of people think that you should use a wash away topper with towels, but actually you should use a press away topper instead. Just because if you wash away all of that excess topper, you won't have anything in between the stitching and the towel. And eventually the threads of the towel can kind of work through your embroidery thread. So I like to show that.
That was brilliant advice. And in fact, when I talked with you about it and you said why you had chosen it, I've always used a wash away. And the reason why I did it is because obviously you needed it. Yeah. And I'm a picker, right? I mean, I cannot keep my hands off of it. And I will make most of my wedding gifts for people. And what ends up happening is you don't want to wash the towel after you've embroidered on it because then it doesn't look the same. They just don't look the same.
It doesn't.
And so I really like the idea of being able to press it away and yet it stays in underneath the stitches so they don't work their way through. So I thought that was really pretty smart. So you're smart.
I try.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so last sample.
Last one.
Oh my God, I hate to see it on. All right, go ahead. Tell me what you got, because I love these blankets. Yeah, they're really warm.
Easy, quick, great way to customize a gift again, but difficult to hoop a giant blanket like this,
Absolutely.
Right? So I know it's not your favorite, but on this one I used a stick tear.
Stick tear. I stay away from them like crazy, but they do have a purpose, right? They have their purpose. So I'm guessing you probably used the machine basting function.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I couldn't live without basting. I've said it before. I'm a lazy hooper. I hate hooping if I don't have to, especially with something thick like this. And the velvety fabric, you get the little bit of hoop burn.
Right.
If it's been hooped, you can see where the hooping lines are at. So I like to use a stick tear away so I can just stick the project right to it. It's a paper-backed tearaway.
Okay.
So you've got a shiny side and then you've got kind of a soft side. And you actually hoop it with that shiny side up. You can score it with a pin, put an X through it, and then you can take away the paper and kind of reveal the stickiness of it.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the downsides of using a self-adhesive, because there's some, you can use them, but you got to be smart about it, okay?
Right.
So I think this is a brilliant use for it. But one of the things that we've talked about before was like having the right needle.
Yes, absolutely.
And being able to control some things. So tell us about that.
It gets gummy, right? It gums up the needle. So I like to use it on something like this where I don't have super dense stitching. It's a lot of going back and forth with a very wide stitch. So there's not a lot of stitching over top of it, because sometimes with that sticky, your fabric kind of bounces up and down a little bit in the hoop and it gums up the needle. So it can be a pain.
Right.
So with something looser or more open, I like to use it using the proper needle like you mentioned. And then I also use a topper on this one as well.
So a titanium needle, and the benefit of a titanium needle is that high-speed machines, and some of our stitch up to 1,050 stitches per minute, they have a tendency to build up friction. Friction causes heat. Heat causes that glue within that sticky back stabilizer to break down, and now you got clinging. So I can remember the very first time I accidentally tried to sew through stick-on Velcro. I thought, oh, I'll just use the stick-on stuff because I didn't have the sew-on. If you've ever done it, you know that you get like a couple stitches that take, and then the rest of them don't. And so the reason is because all that glue clings to your needle. So, you know, if you're going to use a product like this and you're not getting great results, instead of just throwing everything out, stop and think about what you're doing and maybe change your needle. So you should have an assortment of needles at home. And I'm hoping this proves that having an assortment of stabilizers really will be helpful.
Yeah, you can embroider on just about anything. You just need to have the right tools.
You have to have the right tools, right machine, right stabilizer, right thread, and, you know, somebody to kind of help you through it.
You got it.
Super. Enjoyed it, Sarah. Thank you very much.